heard that a paycheck brought me into insurance. Well, it was more money driven back then. Now it's more impact driven. And what I mean by that is we bring people into this business that don't know about the business, or maybe they're coming from a different company, and we help them out financially because when we have leads, we have the resources, but we also have the training to make sure that these people are equipped with high comp and then also be able to go out and grow a business if they feel like. So
Grady Polson here, Family First Live America Beyond. Excited to have Mr. Zach Hawthorne on with us today. Zach's a top producer. He has a massive agency that he's built with his fiance?
yeah, fiance.
Kim Marin, so soon Kim Hawthorne, which will be very exciting for all of them to stop having to explain the last name situation. But beyond that, I remember when I first met Zach, and he was booking appointments, and I think we were sitting outside of like a Chipotle in Avondale, and you and I were like, I was like, show me, like, I was newish to the business. You were more experienced than me at the time, but you were crazy successful. I was trying to recruit you like crazy, and wined and dined him, obviously took him to Chipotle, guys. But I remember just hearing your intensity and your drive and like the way you put words together to get clients to move. And I was like, that was really cool to learn from someone. And it just kind of to see where you developed to so fast in the business, and now to see where you are years later is it's a blast to be in business with you, man. So Zach's gonna be covering how to sell mortgage protection virtually today. But before that, I would love him to, many people don't know who you are, haven't met you yet. I'd love you to give some background and just some, tell us, how you found insurance, how you found FFL, and then, what you've been working on, maybe any news that's going on in your life, if you feel comfortable sharing that. So
Will do. And again, I'll say it one last time, Brady, we're forever grateful that you run these trainings, and what an honor it is that you have me on. So that being said I remember the time whenever we were at Chipotle over in Avondale. I just finished some appointments, and we were talking about how we could keep growing the business. And I'm forever grateful for that as well, because it introduced me to Family First Life, which initially I came from a different captive agency before here, which FFL allowed me to gain access to different carriers, which then allows me to help multiple different clients. But the way that I found insurance back in the day is I was in locksmith. I was locksmithing for one of my buddies. I was making great money, I thought, at the time. And I had Kim's brother, who actually was acquainted with another gentleman at the captive company I was at. And he showed me bank statements, and I was in. Took me a month to get my license, failed twice by 1 point every time, and then passed by 1 point on the third time. Almost ripped my steering wheel out of the car the second time. But that's the way that I found the insurance industry, and it forever has changed my life. It's opened up a lot of opportunities, but I was always a go-getter and driven to go out and network properly. And that's what initially brought me to the situation that I am now within the industry that I am now. So, and me and Marisol Kimberly Marin, who's my fiance and baby mama. No, basically we run an agency together, and it's an up and down roller coaster, which is great because those trials and tribulations have helped us develop into the people that we are today. So and we have a lot of great leaders like yourself and many more that I could mention that aren't on here, but they know who they are, and it's definitely been very life-changing and impacting in a positive way. So adding into that is, you heard that a paycheck brought me into insurance. Well, it was more money driven back then. Now it's more impact driven. And what I mean by that is we bring people into this business that don't know about the business, or maybe they're coming from a different company, and we help them out financially because when we have leads, we have the resources, but we also have the training to make sure that these people are equipped with high comp and then also be able to go out and grow a business if they feel like. So what were some of the other things you asked me?
Oh, that was a great start. So you said Kim is your fiance and also your
baby mama.
So you're having a baby.
Yes. So we have a baby on the way. We are 30 weeks in right now, from what I remember from this morning's 3D. What do they call it? Whenever they put the gel on the belly, I totally forgot.
Ultrasound.
Ultrasound, the 3D ultrasound. So it was very exciting. Got to see him. He looks just like me, which is great. Don't need a DNA test. No, I'm just kidding. But we're extremely excited, and we are grateful because it's been a big thing that has put a positive impact on both of us. Because I'll be honest, we like to go out to eat all the time, and before we were pregnant, we like to hang out with friends and drink a lot of wine. So that has been pushed aside, and now the focus has just been, how can we build a financial barrier and wall around our family that will change our legacy forever. And that was always the goal initially, but now it's doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down. Name is Emerson Kent Hawthorne. A little Southern name, but we're excited, and it's a boy that's on the way. So
That's awesome, man. That's true. I couldn't drop some blue hearts or some congratulations or some ones or something. Slam the keyboard to show some love for Zach and Kim and their new baby boy. I can tell you that like when I had my first kid, I was like, okay, I have a kid. Like I need to like keep working hard. And then by my second kid, I was like, all right, I can keep working harder. And then Chantel, who's the best salesman in the house, now I had our third one, and it was the third that when I was blessed to find FFL, because like I knew how to work hard and like I was driven, but I was, still working through. But then all of a sudden you introduced me to Family First Life, and it's like, you can go run 30 appointments a week. You can just go work your face off. You can get yourself so good. You can teach the people how to do it. And so I love hearing about, it's fun to go out. It's fun to have fun with friends. It's fun to, enjoy life, right? I made good money. I want to enjoy it, right? That's okay. But it's also like, no one told you to get more focused about building a wall around your house financially. You go, hold on, I want to stack some chips in the bank. I want to buy a house. I want to own something. I want to build a legacy. I want my son, who maybe in 20 years old would now watch these YouTube videos down the road to see his dad kicking butt. That's how like you start to evolve as you're thinking. And it's one of the most incredible things is having children. And I mean, if you can't have children or you don't want to have children, that's your choice. And it's not your choice if you can't. And I'm being delicate on this situation, but children are a blessing, and they give you a future plan, and they give you hope. And I have 4, so I clearly like them. But what's exciting, Zach, is to see you now more. I mean, you might agree, I would hope, that I think your production has taken a massive hockey stick up, in recent weeks and months. And would you agree? I mean,
no, 100%. I would agree. And it's definitely elevated me to produce more at a higher level. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, because that's exactly who I am. I don't try to fluff anything. I don't try to sound cool whenever I say stuff. I was very inconsistent, and I started to become more consistent. And I've always been the one to talk about consistency. And then sometimes I didn't put my actions where my words were at. Now, recently it has changed. I picked up my production, but also I want to lead from the front. Leading from the front is very key in this business, and I want to outproduce everybody that's on my team if I can. Now, I can't do that because there are people that are better than me, or maybe they're just more consistent, or they have a better system than me, but I can produce at a high level to not only not need my team, but be able to just need myself to be able to produce for my family and make sure that we have the things that we need. So, and we're actually about to go over that, which I'm excited about, because mortgage protection is one of my favorite things to go over, obviously. But all areas of this business work. So never forget that.
Agreed. Yeah. And so I agree. Number 1 on your leaderboard gives everyone, you look at number 1, you go, wow, okay, whatever they say, I'll do. And that's what's fun about being top of your team. So, but let's jump into that. So you've sold all things, right? You've sold child safety kits. You've sold final expense. You've sold IULs. Have you ever sold an annuity?
I have not. I almost had the opportunity to, and that's another thing that we'll touch base on too. So everybody doesn't forget to ask that question.
Okay. But now you're really focused on selling mortgage protection, and it's 2023. So let's do it virtually, because someone coined the term time travel. You can sell from Hawaii to New Jersey. in a day sitting in working from home in Arizona. And that's a pretty incredible opportunity that FFL provides for us all. So I'd love it if you dig in, like, how did you, what's your process, or, what leads, what are you working? How do you, we start at the beginning, why mortgage protection? And then let's start to get into what you say to the clients when you get them on the phone, and how we move them from a lead to a client.
Okay. So I'd like to start off by saying that I ran every single lead in the CRM. And I think that's very important whenever you're growing an organization, because everybody that comes into this business, they have a different bank account and they can't produce on certain leads because different leads cost different prices, right? So make sure that you run every single lead. That way that you can help your team, if you do decide to grow an agency, to be able to produce at a high level on any leads. They trust you whenever you go over it. But also make sure you are able to put different policies on different people. And I want to apologize because I don't have any seats because we're moving and we got baby stuff everywhere. So I'm standing up right now so you can see a little bit here. But
you're doing great, bro.
anyways,
you're great. You look like you're really into this. Like, you're so, like, I feel like I should stand up right now. So you just keep going. Don't worry about it.
Some jumping jacks, baby. But I just want to clarify that it takes the leadership role to make sure that you can produce every single product that we have too, and the understanding of where to go whenever the time comes. All right. So one of the reasons why I enjoy mortgage protection, and to be quite honest, is because it has a higher premium. And the reason being is because most of the time you're going to run into couples, but what do people care about the most? They care about their household, the biggest asset that they have to their name, and they want to protect that. Yes, we do care about our loved ones. We want to have life insurance in place. In fact, most of the people that I talk to already have life insurance in place. And I explain to them how it may be different from the mortgage protection, and I'll break that down here in a sec. So just keep that in mind whenever you hop on the phone with these people. They're going to have the life insurance. They're going to have the final expense already. And to most of the people that I run into are seniors. Whenever we run into mortgage protection with our leads, back in the day, just like John Wetmore said, is, we used to try to avoid those leads. We walk around and be like, man, I don't want to call these people. Well, once I watched his video that he created on talking about equity protection, it really elevated my game on talking to these people. And to be honest, anyone who's 55 in their 70s is probably my favorite client, because one, you get bigger premiums. Two, I mean, why wouldn't they care about their biggest assets? They don't want their kids to have to take on that burden, and they don't want to have their wife lose the house to probate or pre-foreclosure or anything during that time. So, all right. So, ring, ring.
You got to just do it. I always screw it up. So you're just going to.
Right. No problem. All right. Hey, Grady. Oh, hey, Grady. This is Zach. How are you doing? Perfect. Perfect. So I'm actually getting back to you about the mortgage protection that you went on our site looking for more information to protect your family in the event of a death or disability. All right. Yes, that's correct. They just actually have me calling to verify the information that you put on here. I got that you are 41 years old. Is that correct? Okay, perfect. And then also I have that the property is going to have about $225K on the mortgage. Is that correct? Perfect. Perfect. So, like I said, my name is Zach Hawthorne. I'm just the field underwriter that they have call you, let you know that your request has been processed. Are you looking for yourself or a spouse as well? And then obviously they solidify what they're looking for. All right, perfect. So we literally do everything over the phone, Grady. Takes about 10, 15 minutes. If you grab a pen and paper, I'll knock this out for you right now so you know your options. So there's different introductions that I can have whenever I come in and speak with clients. But what I've noticed is if I get straight to the point about verifying their information, rather than allowing them to answer immediately, like they'll answer if they understand what the call is. But if they don't understand, they're going to be like, wait, who are you? What's this about again? Yeah, Grady, like I said, my name's Zach. I'm actually giving you a call about the mortgage protection that pays off the household in the event of a death or disability for your family so that they don't have to go into financial catastrophe. I got date of birth here at 1190, and I got your mortgage at 235 on the mortgage. Is that correct? Perfect. Okay, so leading into that, once I get them to grab a pen and paper, most important thing that I like to do is I just let them know is like, okay, we're going to spell out my name. And I have a link that I send them with my big ugly mug on it. I let them know, hey, I'm going to text you right now. This is the office phone that I'm calling you from. I'm going to text you from my personal cell, so you have that for your records, and you're going to get a link with my big ugly mug, all my carriers and all my state license provided on it. Just don't laugh at it. And sometimes they laugh, sometimes they don't. It's not a funny joke. But that being said, is after we've done that, I do have them write out my full name. I have them write out my national producer number, because the state of Arizona does require we give this to you. This is important in case something happens, or if you need to just verify who I am. And then 1-855-9014. All right. So I always have my script on me, by the way, too.
Oh, you're good. No, but I'll grab it. But so a couple of things you said. I'm just a field underwriter. So when you just things, you make them small, so it doesn't seem like a big deal.
Mhm.
Or we can just go grab a pen and paper. We'll give you your options. I loved how you said options, like instead of we're going to go submit an application or something, you said options, and then you do self-deprecating humor and my big ugly mug. You said it a couple of times, and then you text them a link. Now, what do you use for that?
So I use a CRM called Zippo. And with Zippo, it creates a Zach producer link that basically has my face. It has some information that I grew up in Illinois with my grandma raised me. It has all my carriers. It has the brokers that we're with, but mainly it focuses on the carriers, and it has all my state license, the picture of every single one, so that they can look through, and then they click on a state where the link's at, Florida, boom, click, and then my whole entire license pops up. So it gives credibility.
Elevates credibility. Love it. All right, keep rolling.
All right. So, Grady, kind of fill me in a little bit. I know that you filled this out because you wanted to protect your mortgage in the event of death or disability, but kind of fill me in on your situation a little bit more. That way that I know how I can help you even further in debt and have a better understanding on your situation. Essentially, what attracted you to the ad to fill out this information and proceed forward? They'll explain their situation. They fill me in a little bit more. And obviously from there, okay, so perfect. Now, do you know the difference between life insurance and mortgage protection? All right. So essentially, Brady, mortgage protection and life insurance are similar in the fact that they pay out in the event of a death, right? Now, mortgage protection is going to be different in the fact that it offers living benefits. And what I mean by living benefits is if you were to become disabled, chronic illness, critical illness, terminal illness, they're going to give you benefits up front so that it can take care of your mortgage until you get back up on your feet. Now, does that make sense? Yes. Perfect. Okay. So my process is really simple. I'm contracted to every single carrier there is in the state and nationwide. So all that means is literally I just shop around and find you the best rate and give you the best price, but also making sure you have the benefits that you just told me that you were looking for. Okay. Now, the way that I do that is I go ahead and I'll ask you some health questions. Depending on how you answer that, I'll be able to maneuver around, take a look at which care will be best for you. And then once we figure that out, we'll go ahead and write out 2 or 3 different programs with that sheet of paper and pen that you have. And I'll explain to you what actually comes with them. All right. Now, Grady, we don't make any commitments today because obviously the carrier's got to think on you. But the most important thing that we do is we take time, fill out an app, send it to that carrier. And if they don't let me know immediately, they're going to let me know within 2 to 3 business days if they can actually take you on. I get back to you. You let me know if you want to increase, decrease, or maintain what you have. Is that fair? Boom. So leading into that, I just go ahead and ask them the health questions. I go ahead and break down the financial inventory sheet. If you don't have
special way you ask the health questions.
Yes. So the needs analysis is obviously going to be one of the most important sheets that you have. And guys, I always have my script by me. I don't need it. And to be honest, I just want to let you know, I've done trainings. I've talked to people at convention and I still get nervous on this. And I still get nervous on the phone with clients whenever I wake up in the morning to dial them because it's like your first call. But just to let you know, if there's any mishaps, that's going to be you whenever you're on here, but we're all cheering you on. Okay. So needs analysis. The way that I started off is obviously I've confirmed their mortgage at $235K. Grady, is that going to be a 15, 20 or 30-year term? 30? All right, perfect. What are you paying on your monthly balance on your payment per month? About 1,000, 1,100? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Now, just roughly, Grady, what would you say your monthly income is ballpark? And I got about 9K coming in. Okay. Now, just roughly everybody's favorite question, either they know it or they don't, which really isn't their favorite question. What would you say just roughly your monthly expenses are ballpark on top of your mortgage with groceries? All right, so about 4 grand. Okay, so 9K income, 4K expenses. All right, perfect. Thank you. Now, Grady, it said on here you're a non-smoker. I just want to clarify, smoker or non-smoker? Non-smoker. All right. Any major surgeries in the last 2 to 3, maybe even 5 years? All right, so no major surgeries. And then I'm going to ask you about 4 health questions, and each of them have 4 conditions in it. All right. So, you ever had a heart attack, a stroke, seizure, or cancer? No. All right. Well, dang. Hey, so far you're the healthiest person I spoke to today. So, what about currently any neuropathy, high blood pressure, diabetes, or rheumatoid arthritis? High blood pressure, you taking lisinopril or losartan or metoprolol, whatever it may be. I already know based off what I should ask them to sound more credible whenever they tell me they have some. Oh, you have diabetes? Okay. Type 1, type 2. So type 2, are you taking insulin or only metformin or both? And they let me know. And if they give you 2 or 3 prescriptions, you kind of know where you need to adjust from there. Now, after I've gone over the information, I let them know I'm going to combine this last question. So what about asthma, COPD, thyroid, anxiety, depression, meaning bipolar or schizophrenia, kidney or liver disease? No oxygen. All right, perfect. Well, hey, you still out there running 5 miles a day, Grady? Sometimes they laugh. Sometimes they're like, well, back in the day I did, because I talked to a lot of military people too. All right. So, and then the key question that I tend to miss sometimes, and it's very bad. I used to miss it a lot back in the day. And even yesterday, I got upset with myself because there was a guy that had cancer, but he was getting over it. And I couldn't get him on equity protection because he was 78, AIG. It can't do guaranteed by then. So I gave him a call back. I'm going to have a conversation with him about putting him on an annuity because, I mean, he had about like 11 grand coming in a month with the expenses around 4K. So don't forget to ask the question, do you have anything that would offset the cost of the mortgage whenever you die? All right, like a 401k, IRA, stocks, mutual funds, or maybe a significant savings, Grady. Well, I have about 200,000 in savings and I have a 401k. Okay, you know how your 401k is doing right now in this market. All right. So the reason why I asked that question, I have another thing that might be able to help you. But what we will do is we'll touch base on that on a different time because obviously we're focused on mortgage protection right now. So, Grady, do you currently have any private or work life insurance? You have some through work? Okay, perfect. Do you know the amount? Okay, no worries. Don't worry about that. We'll touch base on it a different time. Do you happen to know who your beneficiaries will be as well? So your daughter and your son, perfect. What's their name, date of birth? Got it. And then just to clarify, is there anything else as far as like credit cards, loans, or medical bills that might be piling up that you want to make sure is taken care of in the event of a death so that they don't have to take on that burden as well? No? All right, perfect. So what we're going to do is based off the situation that you told me, we're going to say that they had maybe they had cancer 10 years ago. All right. So what we're going to do is today we're going to look at something that's called equity protection. All right, Grady. Now, the reason why I'm calling it equity protection rather than mortgage protection, because the mortgage is going to cover the entire loan. Now, Grady, to be completely honest with you, you had cancer 10 years ago, which is fine. You can still get coverage. What we would do is look at equity protection. Now, the way that it works is, let's just say you passed away tomorrow, Grady. The bank doesn't care that you pay off the entire mortgage, right? They don't care that your family or your wife would have to pay off the entire mortgage. They would love it. But what they do care about is they care about the following month's mortgage payment being taken care of. So how do we protect that? Before I go over equity protection, Grady, do you think that your wife would keep the property or would she downsize? Downsize? Okay, well, perfect. This gives her an option. Now, the way that equity protection works is it allows you to cover anywhere from 12 to 44 to 88 months worth of coverage, not the full loan, but it gives them enough time to maintain that certain amount of coverage in place so that they can figure out what to do with the property. But not only that, they can stay in the house a little bit longer during mourning, right? Does that make sense? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and look at some options for you right now. Grady, I do want to let you know I've been in the game for about 8 years. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because a lot of people I sit with, they're looking for additional coverage, but they can't seem to get a hold of their agent, right? They don't know if they're bad at communicating or they're just not in the industry. Now, What I mean by I've been in the game for 8 years is you don't, if you get the if you qualify for the policy and you maintain the policy, I'm going to be your guy for life. Right. You don't have to talk to 20 different agents every single year trying to upgrade you on your policy. All right. Perfect. So I go over, I have them write out 3 different options. Now, I used to only do 50% and 100% of the mortgage, but that's if we're showing the full mortgage term, right? But we're focused on equity protection. So I'm going to write out 3 different options. Most of the time, I'm going to take 50K divided by 1,100 of his mortgage, and that's going to give me the months that it's going to cover for that length of time. So I write out 44 months at the top for 250. I write it out 30 months and for the middle one, for the third option, 200. And then I got 20 months of equity protection for about 150. All right. So some of the main questions that I get is whenever I go over this information with them is I let them know, okay, so what we have right here, we have a gold, silver, and a bronze based off the information that I just told you. Now, these do come with fixed premiums, meaning that once you're locked in today, it's never going to change down the road. It does comes with a fixed death benefit, meaning if you paid your first premium, something happened in the next couple of months, they're going to pay out the full death benefit as long as it's not a suicide. All right. Then it does come with cash value that builds up anywhere from 3 to 5% cash value, which means you can borrow from your policy. It builds up interest on top of it based off the market. All right. And then not only that, it pays out in the event of a natural cause or accident. Okay. Does all that make sense, Grady? Yep. You understand everything that I just told you? Perfect. Okay. So looking at these options right here, what do you think may be the best option for you to have in place for your family, but also for you to qualify? Then I just shut up. I don't say anything until they talk. First one that talks loses. But some of the questions you should be ready for that I get, and maybe I am not very good at communicating this, but so if I die, or excuse me, so I'm only going to have this policy while I'm living for only 44 months? No, Grady. So actually what it does is it's going to protect your mortgage for that 44 months whenever you pass away so that your family has 44 months worth of coverage. All right. And it will last that time. Quite a bit of time still, right? Not the full loan, but it still makes sense. So that's equity protection. And that's typically what I focus on to get bigger premiums. I glorify having seniors on mortgage protection because, I mean, bigger premiums, and you're running into people that have money and they want to protect their biggest asset. Why not show them something? And if they can't qualify for term, I'm still going to show them the big terms. I don't really care. I'm not too scared to show numbers. I normally run Americo Payment Protector or Americo HMS 100, but if I have to distinguish to a different carrier, that's what I do. So everybody gets qualified, whether it's equity protection or if it's regular mortgage. Now, look, just to clarify, I don't close everybody. I still get thinkers. If they say they need to think about it, I let them know, you know, hey, Grady, I completely agree. In fact, I encourage you and others to think about it. But now the most important thing that we do is, like I said before, is we fill out an application, send it to the carrier, see if you can get qualified. So by the time within that 2 to 3 day period we're waiting, that you're thinking about it and you talk over your options with whoever it may be, or you're just thinking about it yourself, at least from there, we know that you actually qualified or got disqualified. But if you get disqualified, no worries. I'm contracted to every single carrier. We'll just go to the next one. Does that make sense, Grady? All right, perfect. Takes 5 minutes. We'll knock out this application.
Bro. Wow. Drop some fireballs in the chat because that was legit. Zach,
don't give me no rosy cheeks.
What's that?
Don't give me any rosy cheeks.
You can tell that you're in the fight. You're in the thick of it. It's flowing out of you. You're glancing your script, but you don't need to. You're doing it just maybe out of habit. But that's what's fun about this business is you look at yourself and you're like, I just flowed for like 15 minutes and I'm going to make $1,000 to $3,000 for practicing some words that help this family. Because when Bob buys this product and Betty now has a big check for 50 grand that protects the mortgage for 3.5 years to decide what she wants to do, downsize, sell, move, rent, move in with the kids, move near the kids, rent, whatever she wants to do, she's got time now to do. You're leaving households better versus, versus not putting something in place. So, okay. So that was equity protection.